O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors: WORX Power and Garden Tools, Toyota, let's go places. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Big Green Egg, the most popular and most versatile ceramic grill. Huff Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. Year One, classic car parts for American muscle cars. Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs available. Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait. FIRMINATOR, the best food plot implement on earth. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources and State Parks.
From Black Powder Headquarters and the Bojangled Studio at Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains, it's time for O'Neill Outside. For anything in the outdoors, this is your source. Listen in and call the show with your comments or questions. And now, here's O'Neill.
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to Three Falls Cabin in the Bojangled Studio and WORX Radio. It's beginning June, and we've got a busy morning to tell you about this morning. I hope you'll join us. We have the mailbag, the Medal of Honor tribute, all kind of things, the radio prize package, the True Turn tackle tip, and a special edition today. Wow. And without the least hint of modesty, I tell you that today's program marks the 28th anniversary of WORX Radio and O'Neill Outside Radio and CVA Radio and Real Tree Radio. That combination, 28 years on WSB, the longest running single hosted program on WSB, which, with great qualifications, is the number one shared radio program in the United States. And Gail and I are proud, as is Houston, Karen Green, the engineer, and WSB staff, and I'm bragging as I tell you I'm proud of that. And it is the number one live outdoor-based radio talk show in the country, because you guys tune in. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. You can listen at WSB and AM 750 and 95.5 FM, WSB, of course, and the SB Nation sports broadcast. They hate for me to say that. All over the country, 155 stations, and we have more to come. It's my pleasure, because I've got time and I want to do so. This program is brought to you by WORX Tools, Stripling's General Store, Tough Shed, Snellville Heating and Air, Rocco's Pub, the Department of Natural Resources in Georgia, State Parks and Historic Sites, Big Green Egg, True Turn Hooks, Arctic Ice Freezer Packs, the O'Neill's Podcast, Gin Spring Generators, and Critter. We keep the critters outside the house instead of in. We've got a full program today, and we're going to talk about global warming. I promise we'll be back. Before I get into something a little bit more serious, I want to tell you that the ad that you just heard on WSB and SB Nation, I guess, and around, that's called Rid a Critter. And I'm always so proud of all of our sponsors. That company has kept us critter-free since we built this home almost 20 years ago. All the little animals, that's something, those flying squirrels and things like that, they're industrious little guys. Anyway, not inside the house, they're outside the house. Okay, as I had mentioned to you before, we've been on the air now for 28 years. Who would have thought it? You know what I'm saying? And here, if you'll listen closely, is the opening theme song years ago for our program. It tells a story.
I'm headed down the highway to my favorite fishing hole. Can't wait to hang me a biggin' on my brand new fishing pole. As my buddy pours the coffee, I turn on the radio. We listen to O'Neill on the Great Outdoors Show. If it's a lunker bass you're after, or a trophy for the wall, just pick up the telephone and give O'Neill a call. When it comes to hunting and fishing, there ain't much he don't know. talking about O'Neill on the Great Outdoor Show.
Now here's the finish. This is good. Listen.
Last night I dreamed I passed away and went on to my reward. There I stood in heaven, a-talking to the Lord. I said, how's the fishing here? He said, I don't know. You'll have to call O'Neill on the Great Outdoor Show. Talking about O'Neill on the Great Outdoor Show.
And that was our old theme song. We changed the name of the program to O'Neill Outside, and then various sponsors wanted to, and we granted them license, if you will, to name the show, like WORX, W-O-R-X, the WORX Radio, and for many years we had Real Tree Radio and CVA Radio. The good friends. All of our sponsors are good friends. Now, before I get to something else, I will tell you that you can watch O'Neill Outside, regular programming on the Fox networks and the VOD networks, such as Waypoint TV, Carbon TV, the Hunt Channel, Outdoor Action, the Camo Crusade, Pursuit Up, and many, many others, including you can visit O'Neill Outside website. There's only one, O'Neill Outside. And right on the home page, you can watch all of the shows, well, if you want, over the last several years. And you can also make a decision to purchase right on the home page my book called O'Neill Outside, People and Places Along the Way. And if you order it off the website, I will personalize it for you and sign it. Okay, enough self-promotion. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. You know, over all these years, I always tell you how refreshing it should be to you, and it is to me, that this is not about politics. We're not discussing politics. We're not discussing Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden or President Trump. We don't do that here. You've got enough of that. This is an encouragement to spend quality time, productive time, doing those things, the memories about which will last you a lifetime. A fishing trip, a boating trip, a camping trip, a turkey hunt, a deer, whatever the case might be, a walk in the woods, identifying the birds and the sounds and the squirrels and the chipmunks and watching for all those things last a great deal longer than some of the information that you were here. But one of the things I pride myself on, again, without any shame, without any modesty whatsoever, I like for my audience, you, whether it's television or radio, I like for you to know more. And you can choose to accept these things or not. It's my belief the more you know about the white-tailed deer and his habits, how he lives his life, the better deer hunter you can become, and the more you will appreciate the hunt. So we're going to get to some of that in a few minutes. Right now, at 17 after the hour, he's been holding on the longest. Let's talk to Andy. He's calling from Woodstock, Georgia. Andy is calling on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, Andy.
Hey, good morning, sir. How are you?
Outstanding.
I just wanted to call and congratulate you on your anniversary. I've been listening for many years, and I tell you, the best thing about your show, you don't have to be into hunting or fishing. Back when I first started listening, if you got a minute,
sure,
it was back in my wayward youth as a teenager, hanging out all night, with my buddies, and I could not go to bed. I had to wait up. I stayed up, to listen to your show. It put me to sleep, and that theme song took me right back.
Wasn't that? That was terrific, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. I tell you also, I've never been hunting, and I'm a gun guy. I like guns and shooting. I've just never, took advantage of a hunting trip. But over the years, it's so cool to be able to be at Thanksgiving talking about hunting and fishing. And,
good.
O'Neill says, but I just wanted to call and say thank you for all you do with the Medal of Honor tribute and say hello to you and Gail and everybody. And hope y'all are doing good with this whole coronavirus thing up there. And I'll let somebody else have it.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, though, Andy. What's got you up this time of day?
I'm working, actually.
Okay.
I'm one of the essentials, I guess you could call it.
Well, I congratulate you, and with great admiration, I tell you,
Yes,
I'm happy for that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely.
You bet. Glad you called, Andy.
All right, sir. Have a good one.
You bet. See you soon, I hope. There you are. Let's go ahead because he's and I've got my subject coming up. Let's talk to Mike and calling from North Carolina. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. How you doing?
Lovely. How about you?
Doing great. Last Saturday, I got a turkey.
Hey!
And I was using some of your advice on how to do it.
Okay.
It's been 5 years since I got a turkey. Now, the place I used to hunt was a field, and this place I went last week, it was a new property to me. I went out there just to find it and hadn't even been out there, and it was completely different because I've hunted before in the woods. I mean, a field. This was in the woods.
Okay.
And I got set up before daylight, and I was sitting there, and I use a pop-up blind, and before daylight, I heard him gobble, and I called to him one time, and then he gobbled. He was gobbling like crazy, and then finally it sounded like he was down on the ground, and I called again, and the landowner told me that there's a gully down behind back there a little bit, and I heard him coming, gobbling. It sounded like he was down in that gully, but I held off doing all that calling, like you said. He knows where you are. And it was a while, and finally I heard him call again. I knew he was close. And I was looking out the side window, and he wasn't where I wanted him to be. I wanted him to come up to my decoys. I know you don't like using decoys. I like to see him come to the decoy.
Right.
But he hung up out there a little bit off to my left, and he looked like he was going to turn around and start walking away. And I remember what you said about Roscoe Reams and sliding his foot around on the ground, and I did that, and he come over there to the decoy.
Fantastic.
Decoy. That's really cool to see.
That's really great. What a great experience. I will tell you.
I'll never forget that one.
I got to go, but let me tell you, what you have done last week, you hunted successfully the greatest trophy hunt of any animal in North America. You did more. You were talented in more ways. You exercised greater patience and greater skill than any other single hunted animal in North America. And I congratulate you and thank you for calling and telling us that story. I got to go, pal. This is O'Neill. I'll be back. You're listening to O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio, the #1 outdoor-based radio talk show in the country, and our 28th, I think, anniversary month. And I appreciate you joining us. We've got a couple of calls, and I have a very good subject for you. Let's see who's up next. Mark is calling from Camden County. We always learn something from Mark. Good morning, my good friend.
Good morning, O'Neill.
You're headed.
I think I've been calling. I've been calling about 26 of those years.
I believe you have.
Yeah, back to about 94, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's right. We got started in 91, 92, something like that. Yes, sir. Well, welcome to the program, sir. Where are you headed today?
Heading about 80 miles due east of St. Simon's to the Gulf Stream.
Oh, good for you. What you after? Mackerel? What?
No, that far out will be dolphin, for you folks in Rio Linda, that'll be mahi-mahi. And
that's right.
wahoo, I had a friend of mine pick up a pretty good yellowfin tuna out there the other day. Got a nice sprinkling of blackfin tuna.
How big was the yellowfin?
It was a 60-pound class. It came out of Savannah. I got another captain fishes out of Savannah who's been friends of mine for a while. He sent me a picture of it. They caught it last Tuesday, and they had a nice mix of dolphin and couple of wahoo to go with it, and maybe 4 or 5 blackfin tuna.
Fantastic. I read not to get too separate from the purpose of your call, but I understand. I read about mahi-mahi, dorado, dolphin, whatever. they gain a pound a month after birth.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is the fastest growing fish that's ever been reported from birth.
I believe
So
so.
about a 10-pound fillet size fish is like 18 months, something like that.
Yeah, that's right. I have in Costa Rica, which is unfair, quite frankly, I caught a 65-inch Dorado.
That's a big one.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Okay, I interrupted you.
My biggest went off to Costa, Georgia, at 48 pounds.
Well, that's what this one weighed.
Right. That's about to say about the same size.
Yeah, same size.
But I've been doing it out here for about a little over 40 years. I've had 40 years to catch one that big. You could probably go to the place you go in Costa Rica and have a shot at one, with a half a dozen trips.
That's exactly right.
Yep. I'm going out on the best kind of possible boat you can have to go to.
That being?
That being a 34-foot cobia that my cousin owns and just wants me to fish with him every now and then. I didn't have to pay for it.
Hey, I like that. Yeah, it's great to have friends with boats.
Yeah, especially when it runs about 65 miles an hour
Ooh,
offshore.
boy.
It doesn't take that long to make that 80-mile run.
You bet. Well, good luck to you today. I know you're going to do well. You got great weather, hadn't you?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good. We've got a window. Sea's probably going to be about 2 to 4 feet, which is a little bumpy, but we'll be fine.
Yeah, you bet.
And I had to squeeze in a call on my way to the marina when I heard it was your anniversary and just say happy anniversary.
Thank you very, very much. It's because of you guys who take the time to call that we can share information that's made it work all these years. Good luck to you, Mark.
Have a great weekend. I'll send you some pictures.
Yeah, please do that. Absolutely. All right, one more call before we get to anything else. David is calling from Rabun County, Georgia. Good morning, David.
Good morning, and congratulations, O'Neill.
Thank you very much. All right, where did I see on the notes here that you and I have been fishing before?
You took me to West Point and taught me about Carolina rig fishing. This has been in 2000, I believe.
Right.
Me and my buddy Gray went with you down there. We went to Yellow Jacket Creek, I believe it was. Anyway, we had a pretty good day. We didn't catch no big ones, but we caught a lot of little ones.
There you go.
A lot of little ones. But I just wanted to, I tell you what, I've been watching you and listening to you since the beginning, I got all messed up in Vietnam back in 1971, and it's caught up with me now. I got to get a hip replacement. But I just wanted to tell you a little story real quick.
Please do.
I've never caught a 10-pound bass in my life.
Very few people have.
I caught my first one in Lake Jackson.
Oh, no. How about that?
One bite. It was in February. It was cold, and I was using a pig and jig, and I felt a little tap, and boom, I pulled him out. It was 10 pounds, 4 ounces.
Wow, that is a...
the story I'm getting ready to tell you is we got a private pond up in Rabun County, right next to the lake, right off of Lake Burton. So anyway, my aunt, she stocks it with brown trout, rainbow brown trout every year. In the winter she'll put in like 300 little bitty trout in there, and they live pretty much year round if they don't get eaten. But anyway, I was using my first cast. I was using a spinner bait, and it was the color of a trout. It hit the water, and it looked like a submarine had come up. I mean, it hadn't hit the water instantly. 14 pounds, 4 ounces.
Wow.
I got a picture. I'm going to send it to you.
Please do that. I'd love to see that.
It's still in the lake, and there's some monsters in there because they eat the trout. I mean, that's what they feed on, on other things. But anyway, I got a great picture I want to send you, and I just want you to know that I appreciate what you do. Listen to you every week, and I've been watching you from day one, and I've met you, and we talked, and we had a good fishing day that time. Then I run into you up at Hammond's Bait Shop a couple of times since then.
Okay.
But you're just a good man, and I appreciate what you do, O'Neill. And when I get better, I got to get a hip replacement. Everything's caught. I broke my back. Well, helicopter went down and got all messed up. But It's caught up with me. I got nerve damage. I've got to get my hip replaced on my left side. But when I get better, I want to go down there and do some red fishing. Down in, is it Louisiana?
Yeah, Louisiana. Cajun Vista Lodge in Barataria, Louisiana.
Now, who do I get in touch with to do that?
Me.
You.
You get in touch with me. We're going to go back down there in October.
Okay, well, I'm my hip replacement. They just now are starting to do surgeries again, because of the COVID shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to do my operation now because, they're not only essential operations. Not essential. You know the story.
Sure.
But anyway, I can hardly walk anymore, so I got to get this hip replacement. But I got some stories I want to tell you, and I just love talking to you, and I just want to send you this picture because, man, it was so exciting to catch that fish. I tell you what.
I can guess so.
I'm telling you what.
Well, listen, thanks for calling. And thanks for calling and reminiscing about that trip. I do not recall it, just vaguely. I remember fishing a lot.
I was with a guy named Gray Smith, and anyway, you picked us up at the motel. We stayed in the motel that night. The next morning, we met at the motel. We went we went. Anyway, I had Carolina rig before, but we went out to some flat in Yellow Jacket. Anyway, we had a great time.
Well, that's good.
I've talked to you a few times since then. I run into you up at Hammond's, and when you see me, I'm like you. I don't have no hair.
Okay.
But, I just want you to know I look forward to your show every week, and I just want to get with you and do some red fishing.
Hey, listen, thanks for calling, and thank you for your service, sir.
And I'm going to send you those pictures.
Okay.
Where do
just
I send it to?
Send it through my website, o'neilloutside.com.
Okay, I'll do it. And can you send me back some information about the redfish?
Absolutely. Absolutely, we'll do that.
I'll do it, O'Neill, and congratulations again. You're a good man.
Thank you very much. I'll see you soon, pal. There we go. Let's. We're off to a great start here this morning. It's 34 after the hour, so let's see. I have to be out of here in a couple of minutes, but I'm going to take the opportunity. One of the things I was leading to earlier is on the television show and the radio program, and whether I'm writing a little book or an article or whatever, it's not about the adventures. I want you, as an ambassador of the outdoors, I want you to know more. I want you to be more versed in about outdoors and things, and not just shrug your shoulders on different subjects. I'm going to tell you something very briefly so that you will know. It's a little bit political, but I don't care. Ready? The last ice age for this planet lasted for at least 2.5 million years ago until 11,700 years ago. This is on the subject of global warming, and I want you to listen to this so that you can respond to people who say it's because of trucks and automobiles and power plants and our use of fossil fuels. Ready? After 11,700 years ago, the temperature on Earth rose 6 degrees, and after the hellbird and the American lion and the mastodon and the giant hogs had all been they were all made extinct, the oceans rose by 8 feet. The temperature rose 6 degrees or 8 degrees. I'm sorry, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. And since that time, or when all of that warmed up, there wasn't a single automobile, there wasn't a single truck, there wasn't a single coal-fired power plant on Earth. But it warmed up anyway. How is that? Because the Earth wobbles in its orbit. The Earth has been frozen 3 other times, completely frozen, and it's warmed up. Lastly, we have practically nothing to do with global warming. And now you have a response to those people. This is O'Neill. I'll be back. This is the 28th anniversary of O'Neill Outside, WORX Radio, Realtree Radio, CVA Radio. So welcome to the celebration, if you will, please. Without any modesty whatsoever, we are so proud to have been on the air for so long and associate with such talented people. For instance, Karen Green. I want to reintroduce Karen Green to you. She is the person, the lady, the professional, who rigged all this up, so to speak. Let me tell you how this works. I'm at Three Falls Cabin. The show goes from here to WSB Radio via internet, a hardwired internet, which she did. Then it goes from WSB to Peachtree City, Georgia, her studio. Then it goes to, for want of a better term, Fort Worth, Texas. And from there to the SB Nation. She doesn't like for me to say this. The sports broadcast. The SB Nation. And it goes to 155 stations across the country. And it has for the last 2.5 years. And O'Neill had nothing to do with it. Karen rigged it all up. So congratulations to Karen. Okay, one other thing here about this global warming, and then we're going to do the radio prize package. Ready? On the global warming side, and then I'll shut up about that. It's not politics. I want you to understand about where you live. Record keeping has been very meticulous in this country and in the world for the last 140 years, since 1880. And to contradict that bozo who used to be Vice President of the United States, that being Al Gore, and his threats that we're going to be underwater, or we should have already been underwater years ago, I'll tell you this. Since record keeping, in 140 years, the oceans have risen 5/100ths of an inch per year. I kind of think we can live with that. Really? Don't you? Okay. Now, time for the radio prize package. Let's have a little fun. Telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255, all over the country, WSB AM and FM and the SB Nation. Here is your question. The rules are you have to be 18 years old or older, and you cannot have won the radio prize package before. Let me get to the right page here. Oh, hold on. Okay. The telephone numbers you know, and the prize package consists of a Bojangles gift card. You'll enjoy that. A Swaggerty's sausage coupon that you can use at a grocery store, a Realtree hat and a decal combo, a Big Green Egg koozie kit, an Angler magazine, DNR rigs, Georgia State Parks guide, a can of Fisher's Choice baits, a selection of True Turn tackle, that's good, Arctic Ice travel pack, you won't buy ice anymore, a moon phase clock forecaster, you have to know the moon phase, and a Hydro Shot glass. I'll tell you what that's for. And the question is, and the questions are always very personal, because the only way you would know this is that you listen to the show. This summer, Gail and I will celebrate our wedding anniversary. How many years will that represent? In other words, what is that anniversary? How many years? 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. 44 after the hour. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, and we hope you're listening and enjoying the program. And after it's over, you will be encouraged to go fishing, go hunting, and if you know more, not from me, but from the callers and the sometimes unfortunate people that I've gone hunting and fishing with in the past. So 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Call, and maybe, well, a lot of people have called. And we do have an answer there. And the answer is on number 7. Is that right, Corey?
No, sir.
Okay, no, sir. All right, we'll find out where the answer is. It's 45 after the hour, and after 28 years, maybe I'll be able to technically manage the computer so that I can take calls. And we're full right now, I think, and we'll get to that. Now, Alan is calling from Tallahassee. That's not the winner, is it? No, it can't be. All right, Alan is calling from Tallahassee on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, Alan. What do you say?
Good morning, O'Neill. Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much.
I know the answer, but I won't tell it.
Okay.
But what I was calling to say to you is, for those of you that are getting up early this morning and headed out, if you look in the southeast sky right now, you can see Jupiter, Mars, and right down from it, you'll see Mercury.
Oh,
they're just
now that only
plain as can see in the sky right now.
That only happens how often? Like that?
It usually every April.
Every April, okay.
But one reason I was calling is, of course, you're about the global warming. If people would go back, those of us that were in school back in the 60s and 70s, and pick up a Earth science book, everything in there that you say is written in those books. This stuff is just anything to make money off of,
right.
The Al Gore and all that. God takes care of this earth. He ain't gonna let nothing happen to it.
Alan, on 3 different occasions, it's undeniable truth that the earth was frozen at the equator.
Yeah, we talked about this subject before a couple of times on the phone and on your website. And, like you say, the earth tilts, and as it goes around and it wobbles, and, no car or plant or anything is going to change that.
No.
So, it's just like, when we had Y2K, it's anything to scare the hell out of people.
That's
so
right.
They'll donate money to these people that think they know everything, and it's a ripoff.
You betcha.
So, but the main reason I was calling before you cut me off here is, O'Neill, there's a segment of your show you do every week that I can't tell you how much I appreciate, and that's the Medal of Honor. That segment of your show you do every week, I can't tell you how much that makes me feel so much better to listen to the heroes we had that have come before us and that are here today. These kids, these people out there today that are taking care of the sick with this virus,
yes,
they're making stuff hand over fist to take care of. These are the heroes of America. These are the people that make America, not these politicians or whatever. I mean, these people are a backbone of our country.
Well, those are the heroes.
They are the heroes. Just like your dad, he fought in a war, lost his life. Those are the heroes. I mean, that any person out there that will give up their life to save another life is a hero.
Oh, boy. I hope you're listening today when I do the Medal of Honor at about 5:45, because this one, I've read it probably 8 or 9 times, and I know I'm not going to be able to get through it.
O'Neill, I don't miss your show. That's the main reason I get up at 3:45 every Saturday morning to listen to you, and then mainly wait for that segment. But also here in North Florida, the fishing's real good right now.
Oh, boy.
I mean, the bass fishing is off the chain. There's some really nice ones being brought out of, and a lot of them are coming out of small lakes, little, 15 to 20 acre lakes.
Yes.
Of course, the rainfall y'all had in South Georgia, of course, helps these palmetto lakes here. These, they don't really have a source of water, but they're there. They don't have a creek or nothing runs through them. And without the rain in South Georgia, they never fill up. But a lot of fish are being caught right now.
Hey, listen, I'm glad you called, my friend. You always have some wonderful things to say, and I do appreciate it.
But if you get a chance, walk out and look up in the sky right now, and you can see them. They're all lined up. You can't miss Jupiter. It's so bright.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't miss it. Just to the left of it's Mercury, and if you stay on that same line going towards the horizon, you'll see Mercury.
Mighty fine. Glad you called, pal.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Say
You
hey
bet.
to Gail.
I will do that. See you later, my friend. Okay, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Let's go ahead and quickly jump in here and get our radio prize package. The question is, what is our anniversary? Gail and our anniversary year is in June, and we celebrate that. And so let's talk to John. He's calling from Loganville, Georgia, a great place. I've been hunting and fishing there since I was about 11 years old. John, good morning.
Good morning, O'Neill.
Well, great. So how many years have Gail and I been married now?
55 years.
Wow. That's a long time, isn't it?
That's a long time. Yes.
Proud of it every day.
Yes, I've been an avid listener of your show for years. I have thoroughly enjoyed it.
You're very, very kind. Do we have your information so we can send you the prize package?
Yes, sir, you do.
Good deal. Have a great weekend, pal. I appreciate you participating in the program.
Thank you, O'Neill. You do the same.
You bet. I'll see you soon. There you are. It's 41 after the hour. Let's see. It's 51. We've got time for this, I think. Hey, here's our good buddy, Don. And Don, quite surprisingly, is calling from
Ocean Isle, North Carolina.
You're the greatest, man.
Hey, man, we could use some of that global warming over here. This morning it's 45 degrees.
Oh, my goodness. Well, stick around. It'll change.
93, ever how many years that? It's 10 or 12 years, I think. But anyway, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And
well, thank you.
You got a great show, and you and Gail have been married 55. Shaw and I've been coming up on 60. So.
Oh, my goodness. Congratulations.
In the days when we got married, when you said till death do we part, we took that serious. So.
That's exactly right. That's now see, the length of your marriage you should be very proud of, because you cannot buy that.
Can't buy it.
No, sir.
Yep. The only time I've missed your show since '93 was the 60 days I was in the hospital with a heart attack, and shortly thereafter I called you then.
I remember.
And I don't know if you still have that tape or not, but it was sort of very scratchy in those days. But
that's right.
I've recovered from that, and we've got a great medical system in this country if the damn politicians will stay out of it.
Yeah, number one in the world. So it's expensive. I don't care.
Yeah, well, as long as you can afford it, what the hell,
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hey, have a great weekend, pal. Say hello to Ross for me.
We'll do it. Thank you, O'Neill.
You bet.
Great show.
See you soon, my good friend. There we go. Let's do that right there. And this is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio. We're having a great morning. I hope you have a great weekend. Are you going to take a child fishing today? If you haven't already arranged it, why not give it a try? This is O'Neill, 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta area, and across the country at 800-972-8255, coast to coast. And we'll be back. 57 after the hour, you're listening to O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio. So thank you for joining us. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. One of the longest sponsor with whom we've been associated on television and radio is True Turn Hooks and Road Runner Lures. There was a fellow there that one of the main cogs is T.J. Stallings. And T.J.'s no longer with us, but he cared more about you understanding about fishing and you enjoying your trip than him enjoying the trip. He was a great educator, and we got together and we came up with TJ's True Turn Tackle Tips. And they've been on the television show for many, many years. And I have a list of those True Turn Tackle Tips right here, and I'm going to give you one that is the longest lasting, safest tip of all. Ready? Especially if you take children fishing. One of the essentials is that you have sunscreen and sunglasses. You can't put sunblock on your eyeballs. Wear good quality polarized sunglasses, extremely liberal with sunscreen. I didn't pay attention to that years ago, and I have had I have had to have 3 melanomas removed. Don't worry, I'm going to live. I'm fine. Because I spent too much time in the sun without sunscreen or sun block. And that is your TJ's True Turn Tackle Tip. To the extent of, be sure and put it on the kids. The top of their ears and their lips. You don't want to get your lips sunburned. Isn't that great? Okay, another hour of outdoors headed your way on WORX Radio, but only if you stay right there. We'll be back.
O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. WORX Power and Garden Tools. Toyota, let's go places. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Big Green Egg, the most popular and most versatile ceramic grill. Huff Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. Year One, classic car parts for American muscle cars. Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs available. Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait. FIRMINATOR, the best food plot implement on earth. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources and State Parks.
From Black Powder headquarters and the Bojangled studio at Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains, it's time for O'Neill Outside. For anything in the outdoors, this is your source. Listen in and call the show with your comments or questions. And now, here's O'Neill.
Welcome to the show, everyone. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio. Welcome to the program, everyone. Got a couple of obligatory things to handle, then we'll start getting our calls. Hank the Yank's on the line there, and we'll get to him in a moment. It's 6 after the hour, and I'm here to tell you this program is brought to you every Saturday morning by WORX Tools, Stripling's General Store, Tough Shed, Snellville Heating and Air, Rocco's Pub, Georgia Department of Natural Resources, State Parks and Historic Sites, the Big Green Egg Smokers and Grills, True Turn Hooks and Roadrunner Lures, Arctic Ice Freezer Packs, Fisher's Choice Baits, Gin Spring Generators, and Rita Critter. New sponsor. We've used them for many years. So, welcome back to the program, everyone. We've got an hour of outdoors, and we have a little bit of political stuff to talk about, but not about people. It's about hunting and fishing, but how it applies to you, and we'll get to that in just a very few minutes. It's 7 after the hour, and isn't it great? Isn't it great? It's springtime. Fishing is fabulous. Turkey season is still going on in most places, and you and I get to talk about it. Isn't that great? This month is the 28th anniversary of the beginning of O'Neill Outside Radio in Atlanta 28 years ago. The longest running single hosted non-news program on WSB. And you can watch O'Neill Outside on the Fox networks, Waypoint TV, Carbon TV, the Hunt Channel, Outdoor Action, Camo Crusade, and VOD networks that you can find out all about that by going to o'neilloutside.com. You can watch all the shows there on the website also. Gosh, I'm everywhere, isn't it? Something's kind of tiring. Anyway, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. We've got a lot of things to do, including the Medal of Honor at the close of this hour. This is O'Neill, and we'll be back. Hank the Yank's coming up. We have a uninvited ceremonial political science dissertation, amateurish as it is, coming up. But first, we want to talk to some people that are really smart and that they listen to the show and participate. And here's Hank the Yank. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Williams. Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. 28 years, isn't that something?
It's unbelievable. Let me tell you something, not directly involved with your new sponsor, that Ritter Critter.
Yeah, okay.
I had that situation in my house in Cumming.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know about Ritter Critter, but I called up another organization, which will remain nameless because we support Ritter Critter now.
Yes.
But I will tell you that we had that done about 7 years ago,
mm-hmm.
and every squirrel in our neighborhood flips us the bird when they come by our house because they can't get in.
I believe that.
I'm not kidding you. I mean, it was unbelievable how you'd hear them tapping in the attics and at night and stuff, and then we got these guys to come and do that kind of stuff around the soffits and whatnot, and it was gone. It was absolutely done.
Oh, yeah. The beautiful
good sponsor.
I'm going to give them a personal recommendation. We've had them for about 18 years, and when we, I think it's been about that long, the beautiful thing about, you call Ritter Critter, and it's the same guy, okay, every time, and you call and say, we're hearing something or whatever, why don't you come by? He comes by the same day.
Yeah, that's great, sir. I mean, you can't beat that.
You bet.
Well, listen, let me get on to something. I just want to tell you something. I'm calling a little early today because I'm on my way up to the lake.
Okay.
I'm in the truck now driving up to the lake, and I want to tell you something. I don't seem to remember a ton of stuff from when I was a little boy, but one thing I can tell you that hasn't changed that I do remember.
Uh-huh.
When I was 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 years old, and I'm sure you were the same way with hunting and fishing, the night before I was going, I did not get a good night's sleep because I was so excited. Here we are, I'm almost 61 and a half years old, and nothing has changed. I knew I was going fishing today, and I got up so early in the morning because I was so excited. It's incredible how that feeling stays with you for your lifetime. When you hunt and fish. Isn't that incredible?
It is, and I tell people that, you can, and I did. I played baseball, I wrestled, I played basketball, I played football. I did all those things. You know how much of that stuff I do now?
Yeah, very little. But you still hit 567.
Pardon me?
But you still hit 567.
Well, yeah, that was a long time ago.
That's true.
Yeah.
But don't you, I mean, if you're going fishing, I'm sure you still, you wake up early. I don't need an alarm. I don't need, you know what? I need an alarm to go to work and get up.
Uh-huh.
I don't need an alarm when I'm going fishing the night before, that morning of. I don't need an alarm to wake me up. I never have. It's just,
absolutely.
It's so funny.
It's a great observation.
It's just some things just stick with you forever. So listen, really quickly, for fly anglers or guys throwing artificial topwater stuff on conventional, the bite on linear is very men's to men's. It's it's very hit or miss. We're on the shad spawn right now. The water's still a little chilly, so we don't really have a herring spawn going on. We have the moon this coming Wednesday, May 7th. So this is really, the next 4 days are just primo days for these fish to start looking with their heads up. So while it has been hit or miss, I really feel very, very positive over the next 3-4 days if you get out on the lakes, not only Linear, but all the lakes around North Georgia, and you just, give it a try with some topwater. I think you can get a few bass and some possibly stripers, if there's stripers or hybrids in the lake, to react, especially early in the day. The first light bite until around 8:30 in the morning is going to be your best bet, and then after that you're going to need to go subsurface for the most part, or just slightly subsurface, but they won't eat off the top very much. The other thing I want to tell you really quickly is, and by the way, I hear the bait bite is just really good right now for guys throwing conventional with with live herring or gizzard shads on Lanier. They're catching a lot of fish. The fish are deep. They're spread out. It's just interesting what's going on. This is now the third or fourth spring where, from my type of fishing, fly fishing specifically, come the middle of April, my fishing nearly shuts down other than dock lights. Plenty of bass to be caught during the day, but for the most part, my fishing is a dock light bite right now, and they're doing it once again. So I don't know why that occurs. What's changed on our lake from years ago when we had the redfin bite all those years? We just don't see that anymore. But things change, and you got to adapt and change to those changing patterns, and that's what we're going to do. And before I leave you, O'Neill, the last thing I'm going to say is I hear we are very close to getting the Chattahoochee River opened up again.
Oh, yes.
There has been zero fishing on the Chattahoochee River between Buford Dam and Morgan Falls. You're not allowed on the river. And I understand they're going to be opening the parks. If they're not open yet, they're going to be opening them within the next week to 2 weeks, maybe even a little sooner. And so that means we can, I'm excited to start my carp season. It's May, and it's time for me to go with old bugle lips. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
What a great report, Henry. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend,
All
will
right,
you?
Pal.
I bet you catch
too.
a bunch.
Happy anniversary.
You bet. Thank you
take
very
care.
much. See you soon, my good friend. It's 18 after the hour. Let's see who's coming up next, who's been holding on. Let's talk to Ricky in Athens, Georgia. Good morning, Ricky. Thanks for hanging on.
Good morning, O'Neill. First of all, congratulations on your 28 years. I know I've been listening to you for about quite a few of those, and especially when I was in the military and would have to get up early and drive to drill. Wouldn't be able to go home or fishing that day, and those shows just really helped me out a lot.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
And also, congratulations on being married to your beautiful bride, Gail, for 55 years.
Isn't that something?
That's amazing.
Wow.
And what a great example you are setting. And I'll tell you straight up, my wife is the best thing I ever snagged in my whole life. I caught her on a rooster tail, and she was just a little bit upset, but when we got to the ER, the doctor got it out, and it's the best catch I ever got, and I'm going to hang on to her for life.
There you are. Great objective. It'll work out for you.
You asked me to report back to you on the quota hunt.
Yes,
I was one of the
please.
fortunate souls in the great state of Georgia to win a quota hunt to Gaither. That's Gaither, WMA. What a beautiful, beautiful. I haven't been to all the woods in Georgia, but I would stack this up against any woods in the entire state. It is the most beautiful property I've ever been on.
Fantastic.
And I was a little frustrated my first couple of days of hunting because I didn't have adequate time to scout like I wanted to because I do taxis for a living, and it was a busy time.
Okay.
But the bottom line is that scouting, you gave me a tip about it, is so critical because you got to know the lay of the land. If you don't know the lay of the land, you have no idea where to go. And on the day before my last hunt, I found a beautiful spot up on top of a hill, and it looked like about 600, 700 feet on the map, but what the map didn't show you were all the briars that surrounded that hill. And I was making my way up through the briars, and I was wondering if I was going to get ripped to shreds before I got up there or not. And I had an epiphany of an early deer hunt I had when I was a younger fella, and it was a frustrating deer hunt, but I learned something from this doe because she outsmarted me. I was trying to get her with a 30-30. She went down on the ground and low crawled through those briars. So I just fell back on my military training, and guess what? I low crawled through those briars up that hill, and I got up that hill, and I found that tree. And,
there you go.
I went back Saturday morning last week, and for the first time in my life, I called a turkey, and I had it gobble back. I've never had that happen before.
Oh, boy. Well, we'll have to, Ricky, we're going to have to talk about that later. I got to go, pal. Listen, have a great weekend, and I appreciate you calling.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. See you soon. This is O'Neill. I'll be back. You're listening to the 28th anniversary edition of O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio. We've got a lot of calls. We're going to get right to them, but I will have a little science project coming up later in the program and the Medal of Honor. But right now, he's been holding on quite a while. Let's first talk to Justin, I believe. Good morning, Justin. What's going on with you this weekend?
Hey, good morning. First of all, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
I just want to talk a little bit about taking my kids fishing with a guided fishing trip. It was about 2 years ago. My son was 8. He's 10 now.
Mm-hmm.
But I took, I've got a daughter that's a little bit older than him, and then another daughter that's younger. And I took all three of them. The oldest wasn't real thrilled, but the son, he was really excited. And it was actually on July 5th. And it was a little warm outside. It was in Texas. And we went sand bass or hybrid fishing.
Okay.
And we pulled in about 140 fish in about 3 hours. And we kept 100 of them. And to this day, he's still, every time he's got any extra money, anytime he's asked anything he wants for his birthday, for Christmas, it's always something to do with fishing.
Wonderful.
And
wonderful.
I love that he got that bite. My youngest daughter, now, she doesn't like to go fishing. She likes to go catching, is what she calls it.
Understand.
But I just wanted to share that. If you have the opportunity to take kids fishing, it'll touch their life for the rest of their life.
Absolutely. And now with our cell phones, we have a recorded history of all our fishing trips.
Absolutely.
You bet. That's a wonderful story. I congratulate you. You'll carry that the rest of your life.
Oh, yes. It still gets a little emotional just because of those memories that we get to share. And, I can't wait to take them out there again.
Mighty fine. Wonderful story. I'm glad you called.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Justin. Stay in touch.
All right.
You bet.
All right, will do.
All right, let's see. Hey, here's our Mac is calling. Captain Mac. What do you say, my friend? I think Mac is there. Hello, Mac. Oh, I lost Mac. All rats. Okay. 27 after the hour. We've lost Mac. Maybe he'll call us back. So let's go to Ruth is calling on the program now. Good morning, Ruth.
Good morning, O'Neill. How are you today, and happy anniversary?
Thank you very much. We're very proud.
I just want to say I used to listen to you all the time. I'm from Indiana, and I moved back and forth, but I won't worry about that now. It's just so nice to hear your voice. You've always been a pleasant talking person. You and your wife, I used to just love it. And I'm not a fisherman. I don't know the first thing about fishing, but my sister and her husband, deep into it.
Oh.
And I used to call her Woman Williams, I believe.
That is right? Correct.
And I just love it, and I used to enjoy that. And I remember something she said, I'll never forget it. She had those little sayings, and every time I go, everybody say, where did you get that from? I say, for a fishing program, someone named O'Neill, he and his wife. And she said this, she said, I would rather lend a helping hand instead of pointing an accused finger. That's so awesome.
Isn't that nice?
That was years ago when she said that.
Well,
she used to have those little sayings. You say, now Woman Williams going to say something. Remember that?
I do indeed.
It was so gorgeous. I'm telling you. So I'm going to leave you all with one for your anniversary.
Okay.
And say this is what you all exemplify. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. That's what you all.
Well
That's what
said.
you all exhibit, okay?
Well
okay?
said. Ruth,
now,
thank you.
Now, one more thing, and I'm going. I want to say, roses are red. Your blood is too. Violets are blue. Sometimes your veins can be blue.
Okay.
But congratulations and happy anniversary to Neil and Woman Williams.
Thank
and enjoy
you so
yourself.
much.
God
And,
love you,
hey,
and I do too.
Ruth, call more
Thank
often.
you.
I love to hear your voice.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'll tell your wife that, okay?
I will do that too.
Okay.
See you soon. Good day. There we are. That's a nice call, wasn't it? Let's see. What time is 29 after the hour? I've got time for this. let's talk to Rusty is on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, Rusty. It's O'Neill, and you're on the radio.
Good morning, O'Neill, and congratulations on the anniversary, as other people have said as well. I've listened to y'all when I'm coming home from work, and I know you and Gail grew up in Atlanta, but Henry mentioned the phenomenally high batting average, 567. Were you an athlete in high school?
Yes. I played all the sports that were available.
Cool. Did you play at Emory?
At Emory, I played soccer. We didn't have soccer in high school. All we had in high school was wrestling and baseball, football, and basketball, and I played those.
Okay, cool, very good. Well, listen, I found that interesting. I've talked with you one time before. I'm a Sigma Chi, as you are. So, in hoc, brother.
Yes. Yeah. In hoc signo vinces. In this sign you will conquer, right?
Amen. Yes, sir.
Well, wonderful. Where did you go to school, Rusty?
Oh, University of North Georgia.
Okay, good for you.
Or North Georgia College. Georgia College when I was there in the military program and everything.
Right. From our house, kind of up here, our little cabin sits on the side of a mountain, and it's 35 miles away, and I can see the Gold Dome on the courthouse.
Gold Dome is on Price Memorial Hall, which is the main building on campus.
Okay. I knew it was one of the buildings there, and I can see that Gold Dome in the afternoon as the sun reflects off of it.
Oh, that is very cool.
Yes, indeed. We always look for it.
That and obviously all the mountains you get to see.
Oh, boy, yeah. We're very, very fortunate to have this little cabin in the mountains.
Well, you picked a good place for it.
Hey, that's right. Rusty, I'm glad you called, sir.
Thank you, sir. You have a good day.
You bet. Good luck to you. There you are. There goes Rusty. Let's see. Let's see what kind of time do I have. I'm in good shape. Let's go ahead and chat with John calling from New York. Good morning, John. Always look forward to your call.
Greetings from the Catskill Mountains.
Yes, indeed.
Finally, all the snow melted off. We had last bit during the week, and we got rained out on our first day of turkey season yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get any turkeys, and I got soaking wet, but I was content nevertheless. Now, I got a thing about turkey season. I just read in the paper yesterday that maybe this pandemic has a silver lining. Turkey permit purchases went up 213% from last year.
Okay.
I mentioned that the hunter and the fisherman have an advantage here, maybe during food shortages coming up. So that there's some good news there to report from New York.
Wonderful.
O'Neill, congratulations on your years of your radio show and TV
Thank
show.
you.
One thing, a couple of weeks ago, 2 disabled ladies called in, and I'm always enjoying hearing these women talking on your show.
Mm-hmm.
The outdoors is for enjoyment for everyone.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who you are. And I'm glad to hear that they are interested. And it doesn't take much to bring things in. I'm just going to hang up my hummingbird feeder for the first time. That's just sugar and water is all it takes to draw in hummingbirds to enjoy.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question, John. How often do you change the mixture or change the liquid in your feeders?
Well, up here, because it doesn't get that hot, once a week.
Okay.
I take it down, I clean the inside and out, the hummingbird feeder, so no mold or anything accumulates. Just make up sugar and water and put it back in, and I'm good.
You know, the little birds are to be really admired. It's probably reasonable, that is, to suspect that the hummingbirds that are around your feeder in June and July of this year flew there from at least Central America.
Yep.
So they've made quite a flight.
Yep. There's something to behold. Now, I mentioned before, I don't want to be on here too long because I'm enjoying listening to everybody else. but I like to listen for things. I did find one hummingbird nest over the years.
Oh.
I heard it land. I was working up in the head of the valley at some guy's place. I heard a hummingbird land, and I turned around and I looked up, and there was a nest.
How about that?
And, yep, just by listening, being keen to listening to things.
We have one here that nests in the same place every year. I think it's the same one. It's likely not, but I think so. And then I got to go, but have you ever seen a nest with eggs?
Yeah, the hummingbirds. It had two eggs. I hatched two of them, and right up to, I took a picture of them when they were getting ready to leave the nest.
Good.
And,
Those eggs are about the size of a Tic Tac.
Real small.
Yeah.
And it's funny, when she sits on the nest, it's like a tire tube. It's very flexible. You wouldn't believe it until you see it.
Hey, listen, I'm glad you called. Congratulations on the opening of the turkey season, and I wish you much luck.
You bet. Thanks a lot.
You
Take
bet.
care.
Glad you called. I always enjoy your calling the program, John. There we go. Let's see what else we got going on. Nothing else right now. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Listening to 95.5 FM WSB and WSB AM 750 and the Sports Broadcast Network all across the country, the SB Nation, 155 stations. We're in our 28th year. Oh, my goodness. When we return, a little science lesson, and then the Medal of Honor. And we'll be back. Welcome back. Now, one of the things that we've always talked about on the program here, and thanks for listening and watching and calling in, is the fact that I tell you every week that we do not get into politics. And I've avoided that. But I've got an order of things I want to do here. I want to, because it's the 28th anniversary of the program, I want to take you back for a moment to 28 years ago and the theme song. The program used to be called The Great Outdoor Show. And this was the song introduction. It's coming up right now.
I'm headed down the highway to my favorite fishing hole. Can't wait to hang me a big un on my brand new fishing pole. As my buddy pours the coffee, I turn on the radio. We listen to O'Neill on the Great Outdoor Show. If it's a lunker bass you're after, or a trophy for the wall, just pick up the telephone and give O'Neill a call. When it comes to hunting and fishing, there ain't much he don't know. Talking about O'Neill on the Great Outdoor Show. Last night I dreamed I passed away and went on to my reward. There I stood
Here's
in
the
heaven,
payoff.
a-talking to the Lord. I said, how's the fishing here? He said, I don't know. You'll have to call O'Neill on the Great Outdoor Show. Talking about O'Neill on the Great Outdoor Show.
I love that song, and I wanted to play it for you. That was a song that we used, composed locally by a good friend and performed by a good friend, and we used that for many, many years before we changed it to O'Neill Outside. Before we get to our little amateurish conversation about politics, I want to talk to Richard, calling from West Virginia. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning. Why did you change that? That's a good opening right there.
Well, the people at WSB and so forth recommended that I call the radio show the same as the television show. So both of them were called O'Neill Outside.
Well, I don't know. I still like that one better than what you have now.
Yeah, it is. It's good, isn't it?
Outstanding.
A great payoff at the end of the song. What's going on with you, Richard?
What I wanted to find out, if you notice that the water is high and muddy, is that just saying that you may as well just stay away, that there's no way any kind of fish, even catfish, would bite when the water's high and muddy?
No, but you'll change your techniques and color and size of the baits. Now, usually, high muddy water or high stained water is not necessarily bad. What it does is, usually high water like that is colder than the water that was there prior to the rain. So that will slow down the fishing. But what you need to do is change the color of your bait. In stained water, then you'll use a more brightly colored bait. Bone, if it's a crankbait, you'll use a bone color or what we used to call a parrot color. And if it's a spinnerbait, of course, any bait, any spinnerbait's fine, any color's fine as long as it's chartreuse. But in muddy water, too, you use a white spinnerbait. So there's all kinds of changes that are necessary, but if the water's high and muddy, go to some other place in the lake where it's not so high and muddy. I have a great difficulty fishing in cold, muddy water. I'm just not good enough. Some people can, I cannot.
Yeah, so there's no way you can be using live bait when the water's muddy.
Oh, sure, absolutely. The excuse me, the best bait in the world, if you're going to remain relatively stationary in a place where you know the fish live or exist or school, the best bait in the world is a live bait. But
like a night crawler.
That's right. That's right. Night crawler, something. If you're using night crawlers, a lot of times, especially if it's catfish, then you can do very, very well by using shrimp or chicken livers or things like that that have a smell, and the catfish locate their prey or their food by smell.
Okay, so it just doesn't make any difference for the catfish whether it is high, whether it is muddy or not.
Well,
the
if it
smell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the bait will take care of it.
Well, it'll go a long way toward doing that. You might just fish slower. And if you're using a smelly bait for catfish on the bottom, you'll catch more if during the time, if you're fishing off the bank, during the time that you have that bait in the water, about every 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, just pick it up and move it about 6 inches off on the bottom. That will spread the scent more, and he'll be able to locate it easier. How about that?
All righty. Thank you, O'Neill.
You bet. Thanks for calling, Richard. I always appreciate your call and the fact that you're listening to the program. I appreciate that. And there goes Richard. He's always pleasant to talk with. There we go. Oh, we got that. All right. Now, let's see. What are we doing now? I forgot. Oh, okay. A little dissertation connected to politics. And I tell you these things on radio and on television and in seminars, not to be political, but the fact that you, as an outdoorsman, you should know these things and not be intimidated or swayed by the fact that, if you will, that you're basing your opinions on wrong information. I'll get right to it. The Pleistocene era, the last ice age, lasted from 2.5 million years ago until 11,700 years ago. And the earth started to warm. Now, since that time, the temperature has gone up 6 degrees in the last 11,000 years, and the oceans have risen 50 feet since that time. And in all of that period of time, there was not a single automobile, there wasn't a single car or truck, there wasn't a single coal-fired power plant on Earth. It just warmed up. So this knucklehead by the name of Al Gore, who said that by 2020 Manhattan would be underwater, is wrong. The earth warms up naturally. Since record keeping has begun in 1880, the oceans have risen 8 inches. That's 5/100ths of an inch per year. You know something? This is not frightening. And we, you and I, and the coal-fired power plants and the cars and the trucks and the burning of fossil fuels has nothing to do with it at all. And now you know more. It's from the Pleistocene era. It ended 11,700 years ago. How does the Earth warm up? It wobbles in its orbit. Sometimes it's warmer, and quite obviously, many times it's colder. And we don't have a darn thing to do with it at all. 49 after the hour. Let's see here. If we've got time to do this, let's do the Medal of Honor, if you will, Corey.
Honor, courage, and strength of character. These qualities are embodied by the recipients of the Medal of Honor. Now let's recognize this week's Medal of Honor recipient on O'Neill Outside.
Corporal Larry Smedley. And on the evening of December 1967, Corporal Smedley led his 6-man squad to an ambush site. Later that night, an estimated 100 Viet Cong and North Vietnamese Army regulars were observed moving toward the hill. Realizing it was a significant enemy move to launch an attack, Corporal Smedley immediately took sound and courageous action to stop the threat. He radioed for a reaction force and led an attack on the enemy. A heavy volume of fire from an enemy machine gun positioned on the left flank of the squad inflicted several casualties on Larry's unit. Simultaneously, an enemy rifle grenade exploded nearby, wounding him in the right foot and knocking him to the ground. Larry disregarded his serious injury and valiantly struggled to his feet, shouting words of encouragement to his men. He fearlessly led a charge against the enemy machine gun emplacement, firing his rifle and throwing grenades until he was struck again by enemy fire and knocked to the ground. Gravely wounded now and weak from loss of blood, he rose and commenced a one-man assault against the position. Through his aggressive and single-handed attack resulted in the destruction of the machine gun, and he was struck by enemy fire and fell mortally wounded. Corporal Smedley's inspiring and courageous action, bold initiative, and selfless devotion to duty in the face of certain death were in keeping with the highest traditions of the. Corporal Smedley died in 1967. Now that is a hero. Not a professional athlete, not a rock star, not a television or movie star. That is a hero. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. I apologize, quite frankly, that I have a hard time getting through that stuff. But I relate to it. I did not go, I've got time to tell you this, I did not go to Vietnam. My father died when I was 6 weeks old. He was a pilot in the Air Corps. So he was 21 years old, and I was 6 weeks old at the time, and I am a sole surviving son. So believe me, the North Vietnamese would have to be marching down Pennsylvania Avenue before they ever called me up to go to Vietnam. These men and women are heroes. We're celebrating the 28th anniversary of O'Neill Outside and our named radio program. We're very, very fortunate. And I've got time for this. I'm bragging. This is a lesson for you in whatever you want to do in your life, large, small, whatever the case might be. When I had the idea for the radio show, I called WSB radio, and I never got a call back. And when you don't return O'Neill's call, it's because you didn't return 20 calls. But I ran into somebody who said, you know, this might work. It was at a different radio station, and that was 1991. And it's been on ever since. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside. More coming when we get back. Well, we've got a couple of minutes left on the 28th anniversary of the O'Neill Outside radio program, and let's wrap it up by talking first to Wade, calling from Bowling Green. Good morning, Wade.
I got two things to tell you.
All right, hurry.
I love you, and I'm sorry I'm so late. I overslept. I'm feeling better, dude. I am feeling better. It didn't get me, but it beat me down on them.
Well, I understand, but I'm glad you got up early enough to say hello.
I got, let me tell you, taking that second test was rough.
Oh.
It made me take that Q-tip and stick it up my nose. And then they take it out one nostril, and she said, put it up your left side. I said, no. She said, yeah. And that little security guard, a sergeant there and the armed guard said, you're wasting time, young man. Do what she tells you.
You may as well just
stick
listen.
It up my left nose, and then turn around and put it in the test tube and break it off, hand it to her. Woo, O'Neill, that was not a pleasant surprise.
Well, you're going to get better.
I feel good. I put the smack down on some cube steak last night, gravy, taters, and biscuits, and got me a good meal. I got some sleep. Sleep's the hardest thing to do. All you got to do is sleep.
There you go. All right, my good friend. Hey, call next week. Let me know how you're doing, pal.
I promise.
Okay, there you go. I got to talk to Black. Now, Black, I've got your address, okay? I'm going to send you the hat, I promise.
Okay, O'Neill, first of all, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
When does turkey season end?
May the 13th, I think, in
13th,
Georgia.
Okay.
Something like that.
God bless you and Ms. O'Neill, and enjoy your program.
Thank you very much. Oh,
yeah, I want to tell you right quick, my friend passed away.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he'd have been 94 the 18th of June.
Well, it's good long life, huh?
Yes, sir. God bless you, O'Neill. Take care and keep on trucking.
You bet. It's comforting to know you're out there listening, Black, and thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
You bet. See you there. Well, we had a nice program today. It's 59 after the hour, and there's a couple of things to leave you with before the next 30 seconds. And think about this for a little while. The old dreams were good dreams. They didn't always work out, but I'm glad I had them. Great objective for you this week. Weather's going to be wonderful. School is out. What do you say? If you're too busy to go fishing and take a child along, you're too busy. I'll see you guys next week.
Georgia.
I once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio. O'Neill, O'Neill, O'Neill Outside.